funny. I wonder if everybody knows this. You know, if the Niners win the Super Bowl, you know this is going to continue.
What is?
I think a lot of people look at this right now and feel like that's the answer. In other words, like a math problem. If the Niners win the Super Bowl, now we have our answer. And there's some sort of an ending that takes place. Kyle Shanahan will be vindicated.
Yep, he'll be a made man.
Brock Purdy will be minted.
Yep.
And we will all move on.
Anointed.
And that's it.
That's it.
We're going to have to find a new book. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
That's exactly how it works.
Nope, you have to just go do it again. Because all people do, I've watched this now. They've been doing it, quite frankly, especially, Purdy's a great example, but he's not alone. They do it to everybody. Once you prove exactly what they want you to prove, they go, oh, okay, now do this. And if you don't do that, then they're not going to be. So, in other words,
you're saying that the bar gets raised
the
and raised and raised.
The goalposts move every time. Every time. When he did that against Dallas, that was all anyone was asking him to do. And he's done it to Dallas twice. It was win a playoff game against a good team. Okay. And then Sunday Night Football came around. And it's like, be like not a reason, be the reason. Like, okay, really good defense. And he goes, what did he have in that game? 4 touchdown passes?
Yeah, I think
Whatever
so.
It was. Okay, 42 points against supposedly, remember going into that game, best defense in football?
One of them, yeah.
And the second he did it, it was, all right, now come back from 18 in the fourth quarter. Oh.
Hasn't done it.
You drove your team down, but you missed the field goal? Oh, that's not okay.
No.
We can't do that. And we do this to everybody now.
Threw for $125 in that game.
Oh, it was not a good game. Come on. It was a complete slobber knocker.
Yeah.
It was a slobber knocker game.
He had 4 touchdowns against Dallas.
Yeah.
252 and 4.
He was fantastic.
He's all right.
He was really good in that game.
He was great.
Yeah.
His third highest quarterback rated game of the year. 144.4 is good enough for his third highest game of the year.
But I'm telling you right now, he'll win the Super Bowl, and what's going to separate him from Nick Foles? Tell me.
A lot.
What?
Nick Foles is he on the couch right now?
Okay.
Or is he somebody's backup?
What's going to separate him from Joe Flacco? What's going to separate him from Aaron Rodgers? Well, that's probably a bad example because people think he's amazing.
I mean, you could Brad Johnson or Jeff Hostetler me. Mm-hmm. This is a completely different story, and I don't think that it's going to be, all right, now go do it again. And again, he's so young in his career that there will forever be more questions about him, whether he wins the Super Bowl or not. It will be, okay, now can you be one of the few quarterbacks to have multiples? And I don't have that list in front of me, but you're talking about Eli Manning and, Peyton Manning, and you're talking about it like Rodgers doesn't have multiple.
No.
Tromi's got multiple. Joe's got multiple. I said that name.
Yeah, I'm not even just talking about Brock, though. This will be true about Kyle, too. I watched Bobby Cox with the Braves win the division every single year, and people got to the end of a 15-year run and went, you only won one?
Yeah.
They're doing it to the Dodgers and Dave Roberts right now, and he only won a third of a championship.
Well, and I won't get bogged down in that. And it's honestly more like a half, but
whatever.
It's ironic that the Lakers and Dodgers both got those bubble chips.
They did, yeah.
They both got them bubble chips.
Out of both together, you get 2/3 of a championship.
And then the Rams got one too, but that was a real one.
Nobody cared. I don't even know if that's like the whole tree.
Are they still in LA?
Tree falls in a forest.
Totally.
Heard it. Did it actually happen?
I don't think that Brock Purdy, like forever, he'll be a made man. But at 23 years of age, if this ends the way that you're saying that it could end, and the quest for 6 ends, and Kyle gets his, and Brock gets his, he's a made man. Then his career becomes, can you now get into that echelon?
See, but that's what I mean.
The word is echelon.
I get that. You're not wrong that he's a made man. I get that. But sports fans always want people to quote-unquote prove something. Again, listen to Hassan Reddick.
As this season been going on, not much. Talk is cheap. They get to come back in the link. There was a lot of boo-hoos last year, a lot of crying, a lot of what if, a lot of this, a lot of that. They get a chance to come back in here, line that up and prove it again.
Oh, You get to
line
try
that
to
S
line
up and prove it again.
Prove what, Hassan? You could lose by 21 this weekend, and guess what happens?
Nothing.
See you again in a couple of months, buddy.
Right, because it's a regular season game.
Exactly. So everybody always wants people to quote-unquote prove something. Kyle's got to prove that he can win a game while trailing in the fourth quarter. So does Brock. The Eagles think Niners got to prove that you can win in Philadelphia. All of this stuff, quite frankly, is often just it's fodder and it's goalpost moving. And we rarely focus on what already has been proven because we just move on from that. In other words, we ask you to prove something, and then when we do, we don't even really spend a whole lot of time with, you proved that. No, we just immediately go to the next step on the staircase, and what will you do there? That's why people don't spend a whole lot of time with, hey, you know what? Brock Purdy's really good. No, because it's boring, but that was the question. That was, if we go back to the offseason,
right?
That's what you all wanted to know. You wanted to know if he was healthy and if he was actually good. Question got answered. Bored. No one wants to spend any time with it.
Those were the first boxes to be checked. Once he was healthy and once he came out and it's like, okay, he's good. They think he's good and turns out he's good. And forget the 5-0 start. It happened even before that. Once you saw him play and you realized that they're a good team and he's a good enough quarterback, then you moved on to the next box, and he moved on to the next box, and the team moves on to the next box. It's human nature. Nobody's looking at 8-3 going, all right, where's our laurels? Because I need to take a nap. I need to rest on these laurels.
I don't want to nap, but I do want to look at this and acknowledge what is real, which is that the 49ers are very good.
Yeah.
They have everything that they need, in my opinion, and I think it's largely been proven that they have everything they need to get to the end of this story.
Right.
Will they be the one that wins the final game? I don't know. But they want for nothing, quite frankly, probably more so than any team in the NFL. I would argue that
they're on the short list.
The Niner roster probably has more answers across the board than any other roster in football.
Right.
The Eagles do too, but the Niners have.
And the Chiefs do as well.
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, they've won 2 of the last 3, have they not?
But this year being different, that people do look at their collection of receivers and go, yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice keeps getting me fantasy wins.
He's starting to look like he's going to be the next guy. Absolutely. I agree with you. But it's this constant flow of, okay, fine, but what are you going to do next?
Right.
And even listening to, for instance, the Eagles, not just Reddick saying you get to come in here and prove it again. It's kind of a funny sentence because they didn't prove it last time.
Right.
And I would argue, Hassan, neither did you. That's what we all got robbed of. We got an answer to who won the game. We didn't get an answer to anything else. What we want to see is the two teams play and measuring stick each other. And when you lose your quarterback, you don't get to do that. So
I don't think that they feel as robbed, though, as Niner fans do.
Of course they don't, because they got to move on.
Comfortably.
Right.
And I think that's the nature of all of this, though. And if you look across the NFL, not many teams are having these conversations. Because what you said is absolutely true, but it leads me to the final question, which is, can you do it? Can you get it done? Because you're right. Your offense is good enough. Your defense is good enough. Your special teams are good enough. And your coach is certainly good enough. And you've got a good enough record. Everything is lined up to where you should is a big word in football, but you could be a team to play in February and play 4 quarters of football and win the damn thing. So now the question is, can you? Because if you look at the Las Vegas Raiders, or if you look at the Carolina Panthers, if you look at 26 of the 32 teams, they're not asking this question. The Giants and the Commanders, they're not asking this question. The Chargers and even the plucky Broncos, who are the hottest team in football. Great. Stay hot, Denver. You might make the playoffs, and then you're getting rolled. There are only about 6 teams that are asking this very question of, can you and will you? So that, to me, I think is fair in terms of Brock Purdy. He's a good quarterback, and he is their quarterback. He's good enough. They're good enough. Now, can you go out and win the games you need to win to be a champion?
Well, but they can.
But will they?
Right. It's more about will you.
I mean, can they?
Yeah,
they couldn't last year.
Well, no, he wasn't there.
Oh, he was.
There. Well,
and he held the ball too long.
Right, and then he was gone.
And Kyle got too cute with a play call, sending a backup tight end to try to block a game wrecker.
That's a little hindsight 2020, but I hear what you're saying. I mean,